She says, I'm a triple Virgo with her sun, moon, Pluto, Uranus, and North Node, all in the 12th house. So what would it mean to have a high and low octave when you have all those planets, sun, moon, and rising, all in one sign, and then all those planets, everything is in her 12th house, plus her rising sign. And she said, now this is what's so interesting, is I want to talk about this kind of chart for a moment. But here's what's so interesting. This goes back to stuff we've been dealing with in the earlier calls. She says, I wanted to mention that a few years ago, I went to an astrologer for a reading, and she told me, exasperated, that I really would neither do or be much in this life, whatever that's supposed to mean. And at that point, I gave up on myself. So, you know, that struck me. I might have even read a piece of that at the very first call, because house number 12 is really like the house of mystery. And if you go back to how we started today's call, it's like she has all these planets in Virgo, but they're in the house of Pisces. And Virgo and Pisces both are really interesting signs to me, because there are some people that say these are the old soul signs. Now, I don't like that, because obviously any sign, you could be an Aries and have an old soul. But there's something to it, because, you know, to me, both Virgo and Pisces, they come alive when they start to have something to be devoted to. They're innately spiritual. Even people that don't say they're spiritual, like, you know, you can get, say, a doctor or a healer with a lot of planets in Virgo. They may not be spiritual, but they do their work. My dentist is like that. She's so devoted to being a dentist. I don't know what her spirituality is, but she's like she's made it into a form of complete giving of herself. And so there's this beauty, both, I would say, to Pisces and Virgo. They can almost feel aimless if they don't know what to devote themselves to. And so if you have a chart like she's describing, with all these planets clustered in house number 12 in the Pisces house, but she's also a Virgo, to me, that says right there the necessity to find what to be devoted to. And I don't just mean like a relationship where you have the person up on a pedestal. I mean something that you yourself, whether it's art, because the 12th house can be very creative, or writing, or dance, or movies, or a healing form, or meditation. You know, the 12th house, that many planets there, could simply be somebody that it's essential to be on a spiritual path of some kind. Even if it's the path that I'm describing of giving yourself to God, that could be enough. It's not like you have to go find an ashram to live in. Giving yourself to God, offering, surrender. Everything I teach is made for 12th house people, because you're saying, thy will be done. That's the essence of a 12th house kind of chart. And without that, there really can be this aimlessness where the person falls into a lot of drinking or drugs, the low octave, because the longing for transcendence is so deep. The longing for transcendence, when you have a Neptunian chart or a 12th house chart, it's a beautiful longing, the longing to feel the oneness with everything, the longing to not be just trapped in this human cage of the cage of like, I'm just locked in my own world. When you have strongly Neptunian charts, the longing to be out of that prison and know your oneness with everything is ruling what's happening. And to me, that's an old soul. The longing for that is an old soul longing. You have to have many lives before you're even thinking about wanting to feel oneness with all eternity. But it needs a disciplined, intentional way to work with that. Otherwise, you honestly can get somebody who just is drunk all the time, because the 12th house also rules alcohol and drugs. And so again, not that there's anything wrong with that in measure, but I'm talking about needing a route. And if you have that kind of chart and you don't know, you're saying, you're listening to this, you're going, yes, I need that, but I don't know how to get that. start to offer that back to the divine and say, wow, I was born blessed with these transcendental longings, blessed with this 12th house. Begin to show the path. I'm ready to give myself to you. Not to give yourself to another person, but to give yourself to this inner divine awakeness that lives inside of you. And you can start to engage with it and say, begin to show me the steps. But it is funny. A lot of 12th house people end up finding my work because it's about surrendering to the inner divine. So I hope that helps.